Hey guys, it's been a while, but a big part of the reason I haven't gotten anything together recently, besides the months it took me to find a house, then move, and then settle, is because every time I come up with a topic or some footage I want to share, it almost always has, well, adult content in it. It leads me to wonder, where exactly does adult content fit in these days? And I'm not talking porn. Can I even say that anymore? I better bleep it just to be safe. I mean, most of the time I'm just capturing gameplay that happens to revolve around romance scenes. But it's frustrating because sometimes I just want to show the scene and talk about it, but I can't or else it will get demonetized. And what's worse, you can even get strikes for putting stuff like this up, and that means you could even lose your channel eventually. So where does content like mine find a home? Am I going to have to start uploading to Pornhub? And that's the sad thing. There is no in-between, even though there is most definitely a gray area that exists. I mean, consider that there are tons of adult companies out there, and just as many companies that probably don't care if their products are associated with something a little more adult, but yet there is no way for them to seek out content to advertise with. And imagine all of the creators like me who have content that might be considered, well, not family friendly, stuff that people want to watch. For instance, I love watching true crime videos, but can you imagine having to deal with the censorship on that? I think that's why most of them have sponsors, and that made me think. So maybe that's the way to go. Maybe I need to find some sponsors. No more spending hour upon hour on algorithm roulette, where I can once in a blue moon make an appreciable amount of money, but otherwise make next to nothing if the title isn't catchy enough. But imagine actually getting a set amount of money for a video and then not having to worry about whether or not YouTube finds it acceptable. You know, recently, my Astarion Patch 4 video was demonetized. Can you believe it? I think the most I showed in that video was the kissing scene from Patch 3. If I even did that much, I can't even remember to be honest, but I know there was nothing in that video that should have caused them to demonetize it. I appealed, and thankfully they granted the appeal and monetized it again. But seriously, when it's up to them, your whole channel, your income, everything you get out of making content, even the great comments, can be gone in a second if they want it to be gone. It sucks. And half the time it doesn't even make sense in the skew of how the rest of the world deals with adult content. Think about this for any of you that are Battlestar Galactica fans. Do you remember that episode where Gaius and the Sixth Cylon are getting down on Caprica in his room? She straddles him and you can see her whole nude back. It's very obvious what they are doing, but that used to play on cable, and yet it was all right. I brought this point up to a friend and they said, well, they probably played it at night when kids were less likely to watch it. But even still, it's not like there was any real assurance that kids wouldn't just stay up late and watch it anyway. And yet, you can be damn sure that there were commercials playing between each episode. So why is it that it's okay on cable TV? In fact, if you notice, the FCC seems to care less and less about what's said on the air lately, and yet YouTube is just tightening the reins. I'll just say that if YouTube doesn't want to adjust, then content creators are going to have to adjust instead. And that's what this lady is going to do, because the reality is that I am always wanting to make content, and there's always something like boobs holding me back. I recently found this amazing mod for Cyberpunk, and I recorded my entire reaction to it. It's ridiculous and amazing, but of course it has to do with Joy Toys, and so there's some boobs and moans and precarious positions, but come on, sometimes that stuff is the best content to work with. It's entertaining and funny, and I just have to think the entire time, how can I censor it so that I can still monetize it? And most of the time, I don't want to. Like, it's freaking annoying to not be able to show you guys some of the hysterical clips I get, just because they don't fit the mold of what's accepted for YouTube's advertiser guidelines. And so, my friends, it's time to expand past that. And if you guys have any suggestions about businesses I might contact about sponsorship, by all means, leave it in the comments section below. I've already got some ideas, but I think it's going to take some time, research, and some emails to figure out who would make a good fit for me. All I know for sure is that I want to continue making the content that I want to make. I don't want to be forced to make the same thing over and over again, or have to make videos twice a week or more just to keep up on YouTube's good side in terms of actually showing my videos to new people, or even existing subscribers for that matter. I don't want to be forced to censor every other video I put out either, and the idea of having to do so makes me not even want to bother making anything. Can you imagine if you told Michelangelo that he couldn't sculpt David nude? What a different piece it would be if he was wearing boxers instead, so that he didn't offend the censors. It seems some people just can't appreciate real art. And yes, even my smutty content is art. It takes an artist to see the subjects in the perfect light and reflect on their stories to the masses. Okay, maybe now I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's close on that note, and hopefully I'll be able to find some sponsors moving forward. I also wanted to take a second to thank my Patreons who have stuck with me through this whole arduous move. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.